What is going on, everybody? We get another Victory Monday GG Sports Podcast live stream. Vikings knocking off the Falcons 31-28 yesterday in Atlanta. Josh Dobbs led an impressive drive at the end of the game to give us the win. Defense played spectacularly. Jaren Hall played well. It was. I saw Sodak's comment here. Felt like the longest game ever, an absolutely wild ride. It did. It felt like that game took like 4 years to get over with. But at the end of the day, the Vikings do pull out the W. We're here to talk about it. As I said, Victory Monday live stream. Back at you again with that after it's 4 in a row now. 4 of these in a row. It's been pretty nice. Not how we expected to be here. Not how we expected to, 5-4 feels pretty good. 4-1 on the road. Not how we expected to be at 5-4 with the cast and crew that we have on this team. But at the end of the day, we are here, right in the thick of things in the playoff race, 7 seed, and I don't know, it feels pretty good given everything that's happened so far this season.
Yeah. Hey, exactly what you said. That's a 4-game win streak, regardless of who our quarterback is. I mean, we've seen some good play by Kirk Cousins before his injury. Jaren Hall comes out here, has a really good drive. He goes down with injury. And then Josh Dobbs comes in and finishes this game up. So that is huge. That is huge and definitely something to be worth being excited about. But let's do some shout outs here. We got our boy Gary in the building, like you already mentioned. We got Sodak in the building as well. Roger, we got Roger. What's going on? What's going on? Barber 1975, Frozen North's in the building. What is up? And I'm seeing Gary. I'm seeing some sending you prayers, Gary. What's going on, Gary? You hanging in there, buddy? You're hanging in. I know you're hanging in. I know for a fact you're hanging in there. But I hope everything is good, my guy. I'm hoping everything is good. I haven't heard updates on that yet recently. So, man, hopefully everything's good, man. Because you're obviously extremely important to us, extremely important to our podcast. But I can say that for everybody else in our circle here. What up, Yogi? What up? What up? What up? Score for Life's in the building. Paul H is in the building with this hashtag score, of course. Another show, another Justin Jefferson rookie card. I did order some broken ribs. Dang, man.
Oh yeah, I think I remember you talking about that last week.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Hopefully you get that better pretty quick here. Though I do have some Jordan Addison rookie cards coming in, so we will be giving away some of those in the near future, hopefully as soon as next show here. So that would be cool. Hey, we got Joey Hawking in the building. Let's go. I don't know, man. Vikings on a win streak. It's an interesting thing. Like, as you already mentioned, the way Josh Dobbs handled the end of that game was fantastic. I do obviously up and down game from him in the beginning. What can you expect from a guy who only played for 5 or who was only on the team for 5 days to come in and, he had some early mistakes, but to ultimately come back and win this game for us, which is absolutely huge. And, it's starting to show. And I mean, this is for the people on the opposite side. I guess I don't know. I don't want to call them Kirk haters. I mean, but
look. You can. It's the side of the fan base that would like to move forward, and that's not hating. That's respecting what you have, but also realizing, as I'm sure you'll talk about, seeing what a quarterback that can use his mobility can do for this offense, especially on a day where our offensive line was not great.
Right.
And we lost some weapons out there. So I think it's a good point. It is a good point to be made and as you can say, the side of the fan base that's just ready to move on to the next chapter.
To move on. Yeah. And it also, as far as he goes, obviously, he was pretty. Kirk Cousins was playing probably some of the best football of his career before that injury.
I would say an MVP level potentially if
for those couple game stretch. Yeah. And that's the thing though, is then you have a guy like Jaren Hall that comes in and plays well, and then Dobbs ultimately plays well and wins the game here. Which really just shows so much about the coach Kevin O'Connell and what he can do. And there is part of this where it's like, as far as offense goes, I'm leaning more towards that it's the system and the coaching more than it was our quarterback this whole time, just to see how these two young guys come in and were able to lead us to victory as well. So it'll be interesting seeing moving forward here. And I did see Joey Hawking here. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I copped up a blood clot last night. You got to clear my back, Sculling. It's what the Vikings do to you, man. The fight the Vikes are doing to you. Hall is still my guy, but what a great performance by Dobbs. So that's like one thing. We actually just dropped a video. Actually, if any of you guys could go over there and hit the like button on this video, you can wait till after this is over or open a new tab and go do that now. But we just dropped a video. We appreciate you guys to go check that out. Is specifically about who should be starting here between Josh Dobbs and Jaren Hall. Hey, what up, the misery? What up?
We could give our opinion on that here.
But you should,
we could say after this, go watch the video. We'll just talk about the things that are factual, things that actually did happen today. In the fact that Kevin O'Connell did name Josh Dobbs starter for the Saints game.
Yeah, exactly. Joey Hawking, walk it off, Gary. Hey, the funny thing is actually Gary, I know Gary, and that boy he walked that shit off for sure. He definitely walked that shit off. And just like Josh Dobbs walked off that tutty at the end of the game to Brandon Powell. And that's the thing is, I mean, without diving too deep into it, I mean, it's definitely a fair thing. Like moving forward between Jaren Hall and Josh Dobbs, Jaren Hall, we don't know. He's a question mark. We don't know what we have in him for sure. Josh Dobbs has been in the league for 6 years. So it's like, I mean, how often do you see a journeyman quarterback come in and have, end up having a really good career? You don't see it often. You've seen, I mean, Kurt Warner is pretty much the only one that has had a great career after being a journeyman. And then you have a guy like that we've seen in Case Keenum, who had a really good season after kind of having, already being counted out, I guess you would say. So it is kind of a interesting scenario here moving forward. But obviously, I mean, you got to go with the hot hand and probably Josh Dobbs moving forward, as KOC has made him the starter. But as we've mentioned probably in the video too, it's like we just don't think there's going to be a long leash, because that's the one thing about Dobbs. After that game, I kind of went and dug into him a little bit more, and I was really impressed with what I've seen from him, even as when he was the quarterback for the Cardinals. And the guy really does, as most of our nice pickup, Hall, Jamie Dobbs, the league winner. That's my cousin right there. I put money on Hall. He put money on Dobbs, which is like the 6th quarterback that I've picked up this year for him to get hurt. So that kind of sucks. Hey, what up, Zoe? What up? I forgot, where was I headed with all that?
Rich Gannon, yes, he did peak late.
Rich Gannon, that peaked late also. So, all right, that's another example. But yeah, you just don't see that very often. So it's like you kind of, what do we expect? Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. I was really impressed by what I saw in not Dobbs just this game, but what he was doing in Arizona. The guy has a rocket arm. And obviously he has an amazing running ability that we literally seen him. And I saw more of those highlights in his Arizona tape of him avoiding pressure and moving and extending plays with his legs, which was awesome. But that's one thing, like Gary said here, please stop fumbling. That's one thing I am worried about moving forward, is his knack for turnovers, and not just what we saw in the beginning of this games. Again, he was on the team for 5 days. I mean, obviously we have to give him a break, but the turnovers is something that so far, since he's actually been able to start and play, which he hasn't in the first 5 years. His start for Tennessee last year was his first start of his career, even though he's 5 years into his career. But he did go, I think he got strip sacked right before, at the end of the game against the Jaguars, to let the Jaguars go to playoffs instead of them. And then he was 8 touchdowns for 5 interceptions with Arizona. Obviously, I mean, he still threw more touchdowns than interceptions, but still 5 interceptions is concerning. And then for him to come into this game and have 2 fumbles, a safety, and then also a botched snap that was definitely in his hands and his fault, I believe, that he jumped on, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But still, I mean, even if it was 5 days, the reality is, like, it is still something of concern. That's something about him too, is just is going to be his accuracy. So moving forward, it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully, I mean, if he can figure that out, I think this is a guy that has all the physical ability you could ever want out of your quarterback and size. So, man, if he can do that, then it's going to be good.
For sure. I saw this comment here. What was it? I can't imagine the coaching it took to prep and execute a game with all the crazy twists and turns taking the W. So it was funny because Kevin O'Connell, I believe he talked about in his press conference, and I was watching him. I think it was also reported on yesterday. I saw it he was talking about it on the Pat McAfee show today too, about how basically he called the plays into Dobbs. And then when Dobbs, he called it in the huddle. And when they started to approach the line, Kevin O'Connell took the time that he had left and was able to tell him, like, now if you look to your right, this receiver, this is his name. He's going to be running this route. This guy's going to be going this way. This one goes this way on this pattern. So Kevin O'Connell was calling the plays. And then basically as they were lining up, he was basically telling them kind of what routes they were going to run, what to watch out for. And he had also mentioned, Dobbs mentioned yesterday, he's like, I don't know the full names of some of the people. That's probably something that's going to happen this week. But yeah, man, I mean, absolutely. And that's why, again, I was talking about, I was excited about being able to, see a rookie quarterback in there. I thought that'd be kind of cool, seeing what he did with Dobbs. But I think no matter what side of the fence you're on going into the future, this is what you want to see. You want to see Kevin O'Connell be able to call an offense and execute no matter who you have at quarterback in there with all the injuries. You're losing KJ, who's been playing really well the last couple of weeks. You lose Akers, who was kind of that change of pace running back in your system. All of that, and you're still able to compete and win football games, be on a 4-game winning streak after everything we've dealt with. This is what you want to see going into the future. It's with Kevin O'Connell as your head coach. You want to see him be able to adjust and just learn on the fly. And he's been so much better with game management. His play calling has been absolutely phenomenal, I feel like, the last month of the season.
Yeah.
So I think Kevin O'Connell, last year, everything went his way. This year, it didn't to start, and now he's coaching out of it, and I think it's phenomenal. Again, no matter who we see at quarterback next season, this is what you want to see from the man who you're expecting to lead this team for the next decade plus, maybe win you a couple Super Bowls. This is it. This is what you want to see.
Dude, 100%. 1 second here. I want to shout Gary out. GG, you guys got to get Zoe on with you, please. Dude, absolutely, Zoe. We can figure that out. I mean, Zoe's always welcome on any of our shows, so we'll definitely get that figured out. And I also, talking to Yogi and Zoe, I'm trying to get on one of those barbershop episodes eventually here as well. I've been busy as hell, so one of these Saturdays, I definitely want to pop in for one of those too. But yeah, to your point, Kevin O'Connell, you lose Kirk Cousins the way you do, and then you have to you have a guy who's more mobile or whatever. Like, he's not, I wouldn't say Jaren Hall's the most mobile quarterback in the world, but he's definitely more than capable of doing that. So you have to game plan around that. How are you going to do that? You got a rookie at the same time. So you have a rookie in there at the same time. You have to make sure he's ready for his first NFL start. And then you go and do all of that work in 1 week, and then he goes down, and you have to bring in the guy who's even more mobile and much more of a different quarterback than you had in Kirk Cousins. And then and he's only been there for 5 days, and on the fly, you have to coach around him. And he went and did that. So that's what's so impressive about Kevin O'Connell is, it doesn't get much difference from going to Kirk Cousins to Jaren Hall to Dobbs within 1 week, and change everything around like that. So that was really impressive for him. So I don't know. It is like you said, for the future and now, man. It's really good to see KOC capable of doing that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm obviously on the side of I'm ready to move on from Kirk Cousins in the long run or whatever. I do feel bad for him. I get it. And I know there's a lot of fans that do feel bad for him and like, we should keep him around and stuff like that. I don't know how. It seems less likely to me with an Achilles, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, I think depending on how our quarterback situation pans out for the rest of the year, we'll definitely, if it's a dumpster fire and Jaren Hall and Dobbs end up not working out, then I could definitely see them being like, we don't want to just risk everything on a rookie quarterback, whatever. So a lot of that will happen. But yeah, overall, like, I'm ready to move on Kirk Cousins. And this was a game that I know a lot of people, I know Joe Spinoza specifically, I think he went back to deleting his account after this game because, what people were saying is just because, he was ready to just destroy Vikings Twitter with, look what happens when you lose Kirk Cousins and you have a guy who comes off the street No, he didn't come off the street. Comes from the Cardinals, but 5 days on the team, and he's able to bring this team to a victory as well. So, and Jaren Hall looked good in there too. So, I mean, you can argue now that, I mean, maybe we have a real system. I mean, there's a real system, good chaos, great head coach, and great system that we have under that good head coach. And maybe, you know, it's not going to be as bleak as the Kirk Cousins fans believe it will be once we lose him.
KOC is a true.
Hey, what up? What up, Two-Tone Tony?
At this point, it really does feel like that may be the case. And let's freaking hope so.
I'm excited to see what Dobbs can do, see what he's got with the talent we have.
That's another big thing for sure. Like everything we said about Jaren Hall last week.
What up, Blaze?
Being able to step into a really good situation, it's the exact same thing for Josh Dobbs. And I mean, that 21-day window for Jefferson to return to practice, that started today, so we have some time to decide on that. Again, we heard this weekend from Adam Schefter that there's uncertainty there, which makes me think maybe his agent putting someone out there who really knows. Hopefully he gets back to this team, especially with the fact that we just keep winning. Hopefully he gets back to this team, insert him into this offense, and just watch it go, man.
Yeah, I did want to say is I think there was a report even out today saying that Justin Jefferson probably isn't coming back this week, but he's very close. So that's my guess is we don't see him this week, but we see him next week. I do want to bring up Gary Funhouse seeing our defense. I mean, again, in this game, it was our defense that there's a couple hiccups in this game, but man, we knew we were going to come in here with Jaren Hall as the rookie quarterback coming in. We knew we were going to have to rely on our defense and confidently. I mean, I think most fans were going in this like feeling comfortable to have to rely on our defense for a game. And that's just that is just the improvement Flores has brought to this team, which is ridiculous. And it's bittersweet because I think there's no way Flores doesn't get a head coaching job after the end of this season unless what he's been able to.
Unless teams still really take that lawsuit thing, the fact that that's still floating out there.
Serious?
But I agree. I mean, everything he's done, and that's why, like everything he's done to this defense here, the remarkable turnaround with some of the same pieces, if not overall worse pieces, is pretty amazing. But also, I really hope that there's a guy that Kevin O'Connell has picked out on this staff that he's basically saying anything that you can take, any sort of insight you can get from Flores, take it. And I just hope in a way they're grooming the next guy at that position. Because I know when Flores was hired, Kevin O'Connell in the back of his mind had to have thought this could potentially be a 1-year rental. So yeah, I really think that I hope Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi were planning for this scenario to where they have a guy in the wings who's ready to basically absorb any information he can and move it on to the next guy and have your next guy in the building. But we'll see. Pay Flores like the head coach to keep him. That is an option as well. I mean, because basically every year this defense continues to improve, he's only going to get a better and better job. And I said it last year because basically Flores' only opportunity for a head coaching job was Arizona. And coming here, I said, no matter what, you're going to be able to flip this defense around. Like, no matter what, it's going to look better than what it did last year. Mm-hmm. So Arizona, who was in quarterback hell, as we saw, and you go there, you're basically going to be the scapegoat after 2 seasons, you're fired, and you're starting all over again. Or you go here, you take a year, you wait for some better openings to open up, and then you coach this. I mean, and it's for him, this couldn't have worked out any better because now this defense is playing so well. He's gonna have his choice of any opportunity he wants going into next offseason for sure. So yeah. The way he played this himself was absolutely brilliant, and it's great for obviously the Vikings too. I mean, especially, and not even just like the scheme wise, but just to get some confidence in these players who last year were getting diced up all over the place. And now I think there is that growing sense of belief that like, hey, we can all play. We just needed the right coach to open it up. So I guess also pay Hunter. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
That'd be the interesting thing if
they're able to make it work. Because if they can, like, man, I don't know. Team.
I know it'd be
co-head coach. Nah. Not here. That wouldn't work.
No. Well, Kevin O'Connell is showing why he went 13-4 last year.
I mean, he's just he's learning to call offensive plays, but the dude is just such a phenomenal leader of men. And you listen to him talk, like, I mean, I get it. Eventually, I think it's if we win for a few seasons and we don't win a Super Bowl, and then we start, having some middling seasons, I do think it's gonna be one of those things where I feel like his message, like that whole overly positive message, might get stale sooner rather than later. But it happens with any head coach. But for now, it's phenomenal to have a coach like Kevin O'Connell, and it's
100%. 100%. I wanted to I forgot. I have not looked at any of these PFF grades from this last game here. I'm going to actually bring those up here. We're going to start with the defense. Well, I don't know which one. Yeah, there it is. I don't know which one's the defense. So I have two defenses. Give me 1 second here. All right, we're starting with the offense. Here.
What's going on, Scolger Soup? Dobbs
Scolger Soup's in the building.
He absolutely did.
Speaking of Dobbs, they gave him a 82.5 offensive grade, and his running ability is something else. Like, it is up there with some of the best running I've seen from a quarterback. As from a skill standpoint, and especially when I went back and looked at his Arizona highlights and stuff, this guy has a really good knack, and he looks like a faster Josh Allen, 100%. And that's.
You know what's funny? I see run blocking there, and we'll talk about Cam Akers because he's number 4 on the list. There, obviously tore his Achilles yesterday. But did you see that absolute monster block he had? Was that one of Dobbs? Was that one of Dobbs' runs?
I didn't see who's. It might have been. I didn't see who.
He absolutely blew up that defender. It was amazing. Yeah,
dude. It sucks. I mean, that's one thing. Again, like the injuries. Obviously, we need to talk about that. You don't want to talk about it much, but man, Jaren Hall, KJ Osborne, and Cam Akers all going down. We can't catch a break. This is going to be. If we turn this season, the season is really starting to turn around. But if this turns into like a magical season or whatever, is like, man, we just have the most interesting seasons in football. It just doesn't, like, even last year, 13-4, coming back from how many games and all the 8 games that were won by less than
11
games in those games. Yeah, that's crazy. That doesn't even make sense. That's never happened in NFL history. And I feel like we're about to do something else that might have never happened if we continue to play the way that we are. Anyways, here we got Dobbs here. Munt with 80. Always reliable, but only 6 snaps. Hawkinson definitely came in very reliable target that we thought he would be for these young quarterbacks. Yeah, Cam Akers 68.5. Alexander Madison. Hey, Quesenberry comes in for Darrison, gets the highest grade on the offensive line. That's good to see. KJ Osborne got injured, but 64.6 from Josh Oliver. Jordan Addison 63.4. Dalton Reisner. Kind of go down this list, not talk about every single one. But then we got Garrett Bradbury with 45.5 and Brian O'Neill. I guess they had a kind of a rough game, but it was, especially in the run. Like, I think, this makes sense. The run game was terrible in this game, 100%.
As it has been all year long, unfortunately.
The run game in general is just not, and this is another game that on both sides of the ball, I would say the run game was just not the best here. Let's get this other one here. Let's get the defense.
Yeah, we still had more rushing yards than them thanks to Josh Dobbs.
Yeah, Josh Dobbs. Yeah, I know. Bijan Robinson. I don't know what's going on with him because we definitely stopped him. Byron Murphy. Nice to see him step up in this game and get that interception because we were just talking about. He just hasn't been what we were hoping for. He hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't really been that great either. So for him to come in and have a good game, 81.2, 89.2 in coverage, really nice to see. Cam Bynum, again, might be our most consistent player on defense this year, 75.8. Daniil Hunter, our star of our defense here, 69.5. Didn't get a sack this week, unfortunately. And then Mekhi Blackman stepping up again and again and again. And I do think we're just going to continue seeing more and more of him. 29 snaps. And then Caleb Evans, he wasn't great in coverage. And it's something that probably should be talked about soon, especially with Blackman looking good, though he did have a couple nice tackles. You do see run defense 88.7, and he did knock the ball out of Bijan Robinson's hands, which was obviously a huge momentum changing play. It really changed everything. So kudos to him at the end of the day. Jordan Hicks 61.7. Andre Carter got 8 snaps, 54.3. Where is Ivan Pace Jr. 77 in coverage? Okay, that's nice. But that's one thing about him so far is like he gets to the quarterback, but he just hasn't been able to get home there yet. There was that what I think they ended up giving that sack to, it must have been Jordan Hicks, yeah.
Jordan Hicks, yeah.
But Ivan Pace came in and definitely created the pressure that led to the sack, but he just hasn't been able to really get home yet. But he's a rookie, so hopefully we see more of that going forward. But Hall looked pretty good when he was in. Dude, I really like, how much is basic PFF? I think they brought it up to like 50 something a year, which isn't that bad for an entire year.
Sure. I thought Addison looked great blocking. He did. He had a couple of really nice blocks. I know there was one that I can't remember what play it was on, but it was phenomenal. PFF grade confirmed. It's nice to see. And my biggest complaint with him last week was catching through contact. Yesterday on a huge play, was that a third down conversion that he caught that?
I think so. Yeah.
But he took that massive shot on the sideline, still was able to toe tap, get both feet in, unlike George Pickens. And
right, he screwed me over.
To secure the pass, and that was absolutely phenomenal. Addison is fantastic, man.
Dude, I love Jordan. That catch is like, you don't see that from really any players often, let alone rookies. And, that's something that we saw throughout training camp and even in that preseason game that they took that catch away from him, which they shouldn't have. But his ability, I mean, this guy can do everything. He can do everything. I mean, the toe tapping is ridiculous. His route running is ridiculous. His balance, I've said it a million times, is ridiculous. I mean, he's just a really good all-around player. Obviously, you do still have a little bit concerns of him catching the ball in traffic and holding onto it. We did see that other play, even though he got punched in the face pretty much. That was another one he probably could have had, but it was a pretty rough play. So I think a lot of players would have hard time holding on to those, but yeah, no problem, Frozen.
Phenomenal, man, absolutely phenomenal. Some random thought, I saw this. I hadn't seen JJ pop in here yet. I see I didn't watch his video, didn't have time, I was at work, but I did see he got a retweet from Paul Allen today, so that's cool.
Ooh, let's go. Let's go.
Random tidbit of information I had to bring up.
I'm sure he was excited.
Well,
any word on Metellus injury? Not sure.
Because Kevin O'Connell, I guess I didn't listen to his press conference. I listened to a breakdown of it, but I hadn't heard anything. Didn't he get back into the game though?
I thought he did. I thought we saw Metellus again in that game. I was just gonna say. So I think he's probably all right. And then KJ. I know KJ was. I mean, obviously he's going to be going through concussion protocols and stuff. And I'm assuming, I don't know. There's probably a good chance we don't see him this week just because of how strict they're being on that now. And that was a freaking that was brutal. I was like, oh man, he might not get up.
Jeff Okuda, like Roman Reigns, speared him right in the helmet. I mean, but
and then the other guy hit him in the helmet on the other. He got hit in the helmet, and then the other guy hit him in the helmet. It was like a double thing.
But here's the thing. So I remember when Treylon Burks had that injury Thursday night where he didn't move either. And they said the protocol was you roll them on their back, you put them on the stretcher, you put them on a cart, and you take them away. I was shocked that they even let KJ Osborne stand up.
Yeah.
Like they came back, and I'm like, everyone's on a knee. I'm like, fuck, he's not moving. He might be like, who knows what happened. The next thing you see, he's standing, walking around. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, what? I know he's sitting there with his little.
And he looked fine. I'm like, he's
ready to go back in and fuck shit up.
That was one of the strangest concussion things I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I'm like, I thought you weren't supposed to let them stand up after something like that happens, but
yeah. I
mean, be damned.
Thankfully, he's good to go, and not good to go, but good. Well, it wasn't that serious, and he at the end of the game, he was outside the locker room waiting for the team and stuff. So that's really nice to see.
Birds more than a bit dirty yesterday. Yeah, there was some. Pretty ugly.
And how many injuries can you possibly get in one game, man?
Right.
Like,
again, I do think the Jaren Hall injury goes back to just run to the pylon, man. Don't try to cut it back inside and take a hit like that. Just run it to the pylon. Live to play another down. And
I mean, I do feel like the second hit on him was kind of dirty, but at the same time, it's like Jaren Hall was still up trying. Like, you don't want him to get a touchdown. I get it. Yeah. But he did come in
more of a turf than anything.
What up, Tycoon? What up, dude? When you guys gonna let me buy swang? Dang, I want a hat, skull cap,
we still have to
and a
make.
hoodie.
All we have is those T-shirts that
We
you
have
got. We
t-shirts.
still have to make. So we still actually have to sell those T-shirts. I don't think I've sold one, but
I've sold a couple of them. We'll push those t-shirts eventually. We'll push those t-shirts. We do have the t-shirts though that we're selling. I was gonna sell. They should be going for like $40, but I'm pissed off because I just don't like how big the logo is. So I think we're just gonna sell them for $30. So if anybody is interested in those t-shirts that we show, I mean, I might as well just show it right now because they are. I wish I needed
material.
Yeah, it's literally the best t-shirt I've ever owned. But we wanted the logo as size as this one, and we didn't get that, so I'm a little bit disappointed. But yeah, we'll still have to sell them, and they are extremely nice shirts. But we'll start pushing them more and more, and probably give some away eventually.
T-shirts with the limited edition smaller logo. Yeah, we just decided to undercompensate for other things on the logo side.
Yeah, right. It's what it is, I guess. But yeah, so eventually we'll get more of those, and eventually we'll get hats and stuff too. But it's hard because you have to buy everything in such a bulk, and it isn't cheap to get things with logos added onto them. But eventually we need to get hats for ourselves. That's like our next thing. If we go get hats, I mean, if anybody is really interested in hat, like you, Gary, or whatever, we can obviously get that figured out and make sure if we order something, we just order an extra one or whatever we've got to say. It's a limited, yeah. All right, Frozen. Yeah. This is a one-time deal. After we run all these shirts, we're never bringing in this logo size back ever again. So
we're going with this size again. We're going with this size.
Yep. So this is the only time, and this is our first shirts also in bulk. So hey, 5 years down the line, you'll be the OG of OGs.
Once we're super famous Vikings podcasters, like
uberly famous.
Those are good, like Frozen North. Those are gonna be limited edition, man. Absolutely.
Oh, dude, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Our whole purple gang, man. It's gonna happen for all of us. So, yeah. Absolutely. We appreciate that, Frozen. That's what I needed. You're actually right. No, you're right. I'll front you cash to buy. All right, Gary. Hey, we'll look into it. We'll get some hats. Whatever you need.
Because, like you said, I would like to. I want to
get a hat really bad
for myself.
Yeah, I want one really bad, actually.
Yeah.
And the hoodies are nice too. Nice too.
They're a little thick though. I kind of wish but these were the cheapest ones. I kind of wish we could have gone with a little more fitting.
The hard part is it's so much more expensive to get the better quality, but that's the hard part. It's like we might just have to go these t-shirts seriously are the best quality t-shirts that I've ever had or seen. So I'm like, I want to get a sweatshirt like that.
I almost pulled the trigger on one of those on UNRL Unreal sweatshirts today because they had some available on the NFL's website. I almost those quarter zip.
Yeah, those look nice. I
almost pulled the trigger. I'm just like I thought I can't spend $108 on a sweatshirt, but then also there's a 25% off, so it would have been like $80. I should have just done it. Yeah. I didn't do it. I should have. I was surprised.
It's not too late.
I was surprised they still had them available. I thought those things went like within minutes of the release.
Yeah, they must have Hey, that's called marketing. Make it look like it's exactly what Frozen North was saying. That's literally marketing. Mm-hmm. Next level brand. Yeah, next level. That's what they are. Yep. Next level brand. They're the popular ones. Next level brand. It's like the Tri-Blend. That's what it is. Next level brand Tri-Blend. That's what it is. And those things are freaking nice. One of my buddies told me to grab them. Hey,
speaking of hats,
in the building.
Where did you get your hats made? Those remember the hats he sold, the Vikings hats?
Yeah, the light I can't think of what it is.
Vikings Lifestyle without the I. Is that
Vikings Lifestyle? Yeah. Vikings Lifestyle. That's what it is. Rap, did you just buy those in bulk and bring them somewhere, or did you order all those online?
38. We are, and we're 38, and then we're like 200 and some watch hours from 4K. So we're
like, listen to RIP here. If anybody in here has not subscribed yet, definitely go do that. Appreciate you. And then if you're not subscribed somehow, some way to Purple Pocket Podcast, you should definitely go over there. It's actually funny. Someone liked just today on Twitter. Someone liked our Twitter post of the first time we had you on our show, the little link that we did to Twitter. Someone liked that today, just randomly. Because we're coming up on 2 years since we had you on. to a local
Okay.
print shop. That's what we were trying to
That's
do
what we
with
do
our
with
shirts.
t-shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we didn't have I feel like our t-shirt place, kind of, yeah, didn't give us the best deal, to put it
Yeah, for
lightly.
sure.
Could have
Also,
been
okay,
better.
what do we think of the nickname the Pastronaut? I saw that today. I think that's phenomenal. I think that's a
Except to take
fantastic,
my shirt in the rookie card.
fantastic nickname.
What's that?
The Pastronaut.
The Pastronaut?
I love it.
I mean, you might as well. I
Love
mean,
it.
if you have a quarterback that is or aerospace engineer, then you got to rock with that as much as you can, because that doesn't happen a lot. The only other guy that is what's his name? Quarterback from the Jets and then eventually the Bills. And he has like the highest. He's a commentator now and stuff too.
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's
Magic.
like the other guy who's like, oh, he's like the genius Fitzmagic. Yeah. But now we got our own one of those, and probably the Dobb father. That's a good one too. The Dobb father.
Father. What did Johnny say yesterday? Dobb and Weave? Was that his?
Dobbs and Weave. Dobb and Weave. That is pretty funny. I did when I started my podcast. But yeah, man. So what do you think, Rap? Where are you at with this? Obviously I know you were definitely team Jaren Hall prior to the Dobbs thing. Are you still more leaning towards Jaren Hall? Obviously what Dobbs done in this game, you do feel like you have to give him the start because of that. But yeah, you do have to think with Hall, like we want to see what we have in him. Dobbs has been in the league for 6 years. The chances of him end up having a breakout season in his career right now is probably pretty slim, but not impossible, because he does have insane talent.
We go into all of that in our video that we just posted before we hop.
Yeah, we won't go too far. We just dropped a video on our opinions between that. Yeah. Everybody needs to go check that out. After this is over, even right now, put it on another tab, click into that video. Appreciate if you just watch through it, but just go in there and like it if you can too. We'll take that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're trying to push the algorithm. We need to get those likes so we can. I don't have that card around me, but once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we have the Daniil Hunter auto out of 50 that we're giving away on here. So,
let's see. I'd rather see Hall lose job fair and square. Hall needs to show. He needs to get the job back till he can do it. And again, we go into that in the video. My tidbit for this was, the old adage, you play the hot hand. The guy that led us on the big comeback. He obviously, I thought Hall looked really good on that drive. I do think for the future and seeing what you have, yes, it's better to play him, because at this point we do kind of know what Hall is, and what Dobbs is, and I 100% agree with that. But I think they are going to use the concussion. And again, I go into this deeper in the video. Make sure you still go watch that. I think they'll use the concussion as their way of playing the hot hand in a sense, to where I would guess they'll probably like Wednesday or Thursday they'll clear Hall from concussion protocol and be like, oh well, at this point we've already been pairing Dobbs for 2 days this week. It really wouldn't be smart of us to completely do a 180 at quarterback. So I think Hall will be the backup, much like Desmond Ridder was to Taylor Heineke this week with the concussion. I think the leash may be semi-short. I don't think they'd make a switch mid-game unless it goes really poorly. But I think that Josh Dobbs gets the next game to have his real dress rehearsal. Like, you've been here a week and a half. You've been in the offense last week for for 3/4 of the game, or mainly the whole game. Now you get an absolute full game on your own with a full week of practice. And this, what you have on the roster, go out there, show what you can do. If he performs, I think they keep rolling with him. If he doesn't perform, then I think if he struggles and we lose, or even if he struggles and we win in spite of how he struggles, then I think they maybe do make the switch back to Hall. But at this point, there's just even with a perfectly healthy Jaren Hall, there is a 0.0% chance that, he's already announced Dobbs the starter. I 100% agree that Dobbs needs to be the starter after the way he finished that game last week. And this week will be telling. Like, we'll know at about 3:30 on Sunday what the future of the quarterback position is going to look like, I hope. Unless he does it all again where he sucks, or where he comes in, struggles, and then figures it out in the second half and then leads us to a game winner again. Then we're right back where we're sitting here again. But I do think that you need to play the hot hand here. I think Dobbs He looked really good to end the game. He's mobile. He's only going to get better within this offense. Yes, again, you want to see you're uncertain what you have in Hall, and you think you know what Dobbs is. So I understand the intrigue of playing Hall, but we saw one drive, and we're taking this off of one drive. So I think playing Dobbs is the right decision for now. For the future, you could ask differently, but of course, this team, 4-game winning streak, 7 seed in the NFC. They 100% are still trying to win this season as they have been all year long. So that's my spiel. And so that's why I just think Dobbs is the guy. But again, I 100% agree. I understand the other viewpoint.
Yeah, coming out of this game, I right away was like, I want Jaren Hall, which, I mean, I definitely do. Like, I think the chance for our future, like, we want to see what Jaren Hall is. Again, if you bring Dobbs in and you know, there's a chance you barely make playoffs if you even do, and then we end up losing or whatever. And now we have a mid-round pick without knowing what we have in Jaren Hall. And of course, that's what scares me. And we already seen a really good drive by Jaren Hall. But so, I mean, I'm on team, like, I want to see Jaren Hall. I think there's a better chance that he's going to be the guy compared to Dobbs, just because Dobbs is a 6-year vet. But also, I mean, when I was talking about that, I do understand those, like, when someone comes in and he wins the way he did at the end of the game, I don't see, and especially with Jaren Hall in concussion protocols, and we only were able to see a drive. If I'm Kevin O'Connell, I don't see how you could go away from Dobbs, especially, you know, the team rallied behind Dobbs and, you know, the way it all ended and things like that. So it doesn't make sense, or it makes a lot of sense for them just to go with Dobbs. Like, I completely understand why it's not Jaren Hall this week, especially if he doesn't play, just because he does have his concussion. But like Casey said, I do think it's going to be I think it's a very strong or a very short leash to the point. I mean, if Dobbs comes in here and we lose against the Saints and he has, you know, a couple interceptions or something, I think it's going to be enough for them to just roll with Jaren Hall. I think the leash is going to be the same. Like, Jaren Hall's leash was obviously pretty small as well. You know, he gets injury and Dobbs comes in, does perform, especially at the end of the game, still makes some mistakes though. And then, you know, you kind of are just like, all right, I guess we have to roll with Dobbs here. And I think it's going to be the same situation. So but I do think, go ahead. Oh, at the very least, though, the good thing is we get a real chance. Dobbs gets a real opportunity here. This is going to be the best opportunity he might ever have in his career against a solid offensive line who could have been more solid last week, but hopefully we get Darisaw back, and then some good players to throw the ball to. And the way Kevin O'Connell has been coaching, how the defense is playing, just his situation is fantastic. So if Dobbs is ever going to come in and be that guy, it's probably going to be this game. And the good news is if it doesn't work out, then you can put Jaren Hall back in.
Yeah,
so I think at the end of the day, it's not the worst scenario, seeing what Dobbs has and, you know, giving him, this is a real shot for him, and seeing if he can actually do it. And if not, then we just bring Jaren Hall back in. So,
but at least it's not Matt. At least it's not Matt Castle, Christian Ponder. And for that, we can all be thankful. What scares you the most?
Oh, sorry.
What scares you the most about the Saints? Elvin Kamara, Taysom Hill, maybe Michael Thomas, and a few pieces on that defense. By the way, going back to Kirk Cousins for 1 second, the one thing that I'm upset about that Kirk Cousins doesn't get to play in this game was, remember before the season, you had Cam Jordan, who the only good thing about Cam Jordan is his dad, because his dad played, you know, was a really good tight end for the Vikings. That's the only good thing about Cam Jordan. But he had that press conf, or that he was talking to some of the players. They had a video of him. He's like talking about quarterbacks and make quick decisions. He's like, a fast, bad decision is worse for a defense, better for an offense. A slow, good decision is good for us. We call him Kirk Cousins. I really wish Kirk Cousins could make him eat his words, because that's one thing Kirk Cousins has been good about in his career.
True.
Someone talks some smack, and he comes out and he just puts the bang thing down on him.
Yeah,
I really wish Kirk was playing in this game just to make him eat his words, but the rest of the team will do it for him.
Yeah,
I hope that gets brought up this week. It's just some extra bulletin board material.
Yeah, right. Definitely.
By the way, all the guys wearing the Kirk Cousins t-shirts and stuff this week were that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And with this game, I mean, I would say Kamara is probably the player you're worried the most about, but we've been surprisingly playing very well against these type of running backs, so it makes me not as worried against him. And then I mean, Derek Carr is average, And I mean, so I'm not really worried about him. I think Chris Olave is really good. I am still worried about Michael
Oh yeah,
Thomas.
I forgot about Olave. Yeah,
But there, I mean, we've already, even when we were kind of not playing our best football, we've taken on way better talent, even from a wide receiver. I mean, we've taken on Mike Evans and Godwin. We've taken on
AJ Brown and
AJ
Devonta
Brown,
Smith.
and AJ Brown is arguably playing the best football of any wide receiver in the league right now.
Absolutely.
So we've taken on some more difficult players than what the Saints have. So I'm not really too worried about it from that standpoint. I guess their defense can be scrappy, and it is something we have to worry about. But at the end of the day, I do think this is going to be another game similar to that Atlanta Falcons game, that we should come in and beat this Saints team, a Saints team that we seem to play pretty well against outside of ever since the 2009 situation. So
yeah. Jaren Hall's biggest mistake was Sly versus Clyde decision loss as a quarterback, and I mentioned that earlier. How that the biggest learning thing from that is, if you're Kevin O'Connell, you just tell him run to the pylon, head first, dive. Keep your head out of the way, or just worst case scenario, you can just run right out of bounds going that way. But I think that's the biggest thing. He tried to make that cut back inside, which I get it. You're just trying to score, but it's also funny that if he makes a little bit better throw, he overthrew a wide open TJ Hawkinson in the end zone. If he makes that throw, if he's a little bit more under control on that throw and he makes that touchdown pass, we might be having a completely different conversation today. It might just be, hey, Josh Dobbs is the backup, which is awesome, but man, Jaren Hall is something. But
yeah,
the game
still
rolled out like it did, and
that's the thing is Jaren Hall did look he just looked so good in that one.
He looked comfortable.
He looked comfortable.
Around. I think my favorite play of his, it wasn't even that big of a gain, was when the play action, he turned around, he had the guy right in his face, and he was able to get the ball out and pick up some yardage there. I think that might have been one of my favorite plays of his. And
even though he didn't everything, this would be a whole different podcast if he makes that throw to TJ Hawkinson.
Absolutely.
But still, that was still impressive. I mean, that's him avoiding pressure and extending the play. He just wasn't able to make the throw happen. But that was an easy touchdown. He misses the throw.
Yeah.
But that's still impressive. That's just something that, I've been craving from our quarterback pretty much ever since we've gotten Kirk Cousins. So that's it's been a breath of fresh air for me, which is, I don't know, it feels so wrong to say because I know no one's happy that Kirk, I don't want Kirk to be injured. I wasn't ready for him to not be our quarterback right when we're starting to play well. But, a lot of us have been asking for more of the mobile quarterback thing, and it has been nice to see what it looks like in our offense. And honestly, it looks pretty damn good.
And it'll be interesting.
And I do think it's going to help our run offense as well going forward too.
Right. It'll be nice to see it'll be interesting to see if Kevin O'Connell implements a little bit more quarterback running, some more RPOs and stuff like that going forward.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm assuming he will be interesting. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to come in with a whole new game plan. Even I said, going from Jaren Hall to Dobbs is a pretty big jump from just a mobile quarterback situation as well. I mean, it's not as big as going from Kirk Cousins to Dobbs. So you kind of got, at least he gets that in betweener, but Dobbs is as legit as it gets as being a mobile quarterback. So I do think you're going to see more plays being called specifically for that, because we didn't really see that in this game for Dobbs. I mean, any of his plays that he used his feet to gain yards were him when he didn't see anything open or whatever. So yeah, but man, it'll be interesting.
But going back to Kevin O'Connell and you just think about everything that's happened this season, all the injuries, the way that he's kept this. I think people were saying it in the Bleacher Report stream last night, the way that he's kept the team just into these games, kept them motivated. And honestly, they felt like it seems like they've been more motivated ever since going into that 49ers game. The way that he's been able to keep, you're looking at him on the sidelines after those injuries, he looked like he was just pissed, which I would be too, when do the injuries stop? But the fact that this team is still finding ways to win these games, and sure, we're in that soft stretch of our schedule, but if he can find a way to get us on a run, getting up to that Bengals game, to see, if let's say we're 9-4 going into that Bengals game, then you got Bengals, Lions, Packers, Lions, that could be a really interesting stretch. It's either we're going to be this team's going to make a run, or we're going to be 9-8. Which is obviously what nobody wants. But
nobody wants that. It's interesting though. It's interesting. It'll be interesting when we get JJ back too. That's why it's I'm excited for this game though, or for this next game against the Saints, because I'm excited to see what Josh Dobbs really is going to have after a week of preparation and all that stuff. So we'll see, and we'll be able to really see if it's him or not. And then, if it's not, it is like, all right, we feel comfortable going back to Jaren Hall
Right. And
right
and
now
that's
as
the big
well.
thing. And that, like, the fact that they were going to have him start this week, which obviously, it is what it is, bringing in quarterbacks or whatnot. But it would be more, it's going to be a little more telling when Nick Mullins is eventually back in the fold again. Because then if they decide to go with Nick Mullins, then you're like, okay, they don't trust anybody on this team. But it is telling. But that is the nice thing. The fact they started Hall anyway, instead of going with the veteran, I know he hadn't been here that long, but still. Like, the fact that they started Hall anyway just showed me, like, they trust him in the scenario that they have to go back to him again, which maybe sooner rather than later. Maybe it gets pushed back. I don't know.
I don't think they do, unless both I think Hall and Dobbs are going to get their shot. Obviously, Dobbs is getting it right now, but even with Hall, like if Mullins came back this week, I think you still see Dobbs start.
Oh yeah,
So I think they're rolling with them. So I think the only way we see Mullins now is if Dobbs and Jaren Hall
both are absolutely awful.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or get hurt.
And because that's the thing with Mullins. Like, I like him as a backup quarterback, but he is 100%. Like, there's no, like, with Dobbs, there's a chance he could be more than that still.
Right.
Yeah, like, he's never really got a fair shot until recently.
Mullins is the guy that if that Kirk Cousins ankle injury is a sprain, Mullins is the guy that I want. Right. But the fact that it's Achilles tear, you don't like Mullins. Like, he could get in there and maybe win you a game or two if Kirk was out a couple weeks. But the fact he's out a full season, I'd rather see somebody with a little bit more upside than what Mullins has, because Mullins is definitely like that average arm, just distribute the football type of
guy. And that's another thing too, is that, and now that we know, like, because like what you're saying, like, you would have seen if Kirk sprained his ankle or whatever, because you're saying because it's a similar game plan around somewhat of a similar type of quarterback.
And Mullins,
but that's one thing now,
like an average game managing type quarterback, that if he has to play a game or two, if you have to win a game or two, you're like, okay, good, we'll go with the safe option.
Yeah.
But the fact that that's not are out the window now, you got to just kind of go all in with whatever you think.
And Kevin O'Connell can game plan on the fly around different styles of quarterbacks. So that's something also that's really nice to know, that he's able to do that. Especially, I mean, I don't know, like, his game, the calls in that game were perfect. Like, I have a feeling that there's a chance that KOC is more of, he is better to game plan around a mobile quarterback as well. And maybe that's easier for him. So it'd be interesting to see on that front as well.
I saw it on social media today that I can't remember who said it. Maybe I can't remember who put it out there. But if he leads, maybe it was Ali. Either way, if this team makes the playoffs, he's got to be a front runner for Coach of the Year, you'd think. I mean, starting off 0-3, leading this team through the adversity and everything, man. Like, we have one hell of a coach. 100%. Everyone overreacted, including myself, start the season. I can see the team they're building is going to be special. I 100% agree. And I was incredibly, and that's the thing, like, I never lost faith in Kevin O'Connell, but obviously we know on here, it was probably about 6 weeks ago when I went on my Kevin O'Connell rant on here.
Oh, like, that's right.
It's one of those things where, like, you're hard on somebody because, like, when you're hard on somebody, it's a good thing. When you're not, it's because you've given up hope. Like, I always knew that he was a good football coach, right? It was just seeing everything kind of come together for him. And I think losing JJ, losing Kirk might be the best thing, not to say that, but it might be the best thing for his future, because now he can't rely on superstars. He's relying on backups, fill-ins, and rookies.
Yeah.
It
was hard. I never said, that's one thing. Like, I never said our team was, I was not on board with our team is trash. I was never, I said
they're not bad, but they're not good. I thought they were.
Yeah. Like, they're not going to be the worst in the league. And they're not like going to make a big playoff push type of thing. And honestly, so I guess you could say, like, hey, their talent it's coming together. It's really coming together. But I never thought our team was trash type of situation. And even with Kevin O'Connell, that's one thing too, is that I also may not be smarter than Quezzy.
Let's actually finish your thoughts. Let's talk about Quezzy for a little bit here.
Yeah, because he deserves his flowers too. Because we did see a lot. Hey, what up, Justin?
What's going on, Justin?
We did. I mean, Quezzy did. I mean, some of these moves are working out. Reisner, obviously, Cam Akers, his situation, but going and getting Josh Dobbs now is looking pretty good. But we'll see how that lasts in the long run. But at the very least, he came in 5 days and still got you a win after Hall goes down from a comeback. So, hey, that's already a big W for Quezzy and the signing of Josh Dobbs. So, obviously there's all of that. But, yeah, KOC just deserves his flowers. One thing I do want to say, though, is, back to Kirk Cousins, because that's the reality of it. Like, Kirk Cousins, each week, we're going to get away from his Achilles heel because I don't want to say anything. It's hard to be like, Kirk Cousins is such a good dude, and you don't want to say anything wrong with him. But we'll keep seeing how this offense is ran, but from what we've seen the last couple of weeks, and then with Kirk Cousins, but especially this game, and we talked a lot about these mid-game lulls and stuff that we all wanted to blame on KOC. We'll see if it was KOC, and maybe it is fair to say that there's a chance that Kirk could be the guy that kept things conservative, and it wasn't majority the play calling. And yeah, I think it should be able to be said, even though Kirk went down with a torn Achilles, which does suck.
For sure. A couple interesting comments rolling in here from Dan. They have some young guys stepping up, and I hope Roy gets more snaps. He had a flash play yesterday that was really nice to see. He did.
Broke right.
Yeah, he could.
What was the swim move? Swim move or
spin move or
swim move? Swim move.
Yeah.
Swim move to destroy the running back.
Dude could be something. Let's see.
Blackman too. I'm liking the trajectory of Blackman right now.
Mm-hmm. I just want KOC to have tough love a bit more. I'm not in the locker room, but he might behind the scenes. Yeah, that is one thing that you do kind of have to worry about a little bit with O'Connell. Is he too nice still? We'll see. I don't know. I think he'll get better at that now, as he gets more used to the team. Quezzy missed on seeing everyone else starting to work out. Lewis Cine is going to be the best kept secret on this team right now. I'm telling you what, man. Mm-hmm. I'm back on the Lewis Cine train. I don't even know why. Because I remember I watched Purple for the Win, and he said he's like obviously all the injuries and stuff, but he's like, but Lewis Cine was supposed to be the 1-for-1 replacement for Harrison Smith. He wasn't supposed to be a Cam Bynum type safety. So he may just be creeping in the weeds. Like he's learning the Harrison Smith position. He's not learning the Cam Bynum safety position, which is why Theo Jackson gets in there instead. So I'm calling it now.
Still, though, I'm not. I need to see more from that.
Through the year before next season, Lewis Cine best kept secret on the Minnesota.
They're not even letting him play special teams now
because they don't want him to get hurt any worse. Because he has something rolling.
Let's hope he turns it around. But yeah, that's a good point. I think it's fair to say that Quezzy didn't have the best draft his first time. 100%. I think it's fair to say that. Does that mean forever he's going to be terrible at drafting? No. 100% not.
He's already made the correction.
He's already made it up with this year. Jordan Addison, the best wide receiver taken in the first round, arguably between him and Puka, the two best wide receivers in the entire draft. So Jordan Addison, huge plus. Blackman is looking really good. Jaquelin Roy is starting to step up. Obviously, we know Ivan Pace is an undrafted free agent, and we're seeing more and more Andre Carter. Jaren Hall, for instance, comes in and has a good drive. Like this draft has honestly been pretty damn solid that we just haven't even seen the best of it yet. But the first draft, I think it's very fair to say it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best, and it just might not be the best.
Better chance Jay Ward becomes a safety over that bust scene if Jay Ward can stop lining up offsides on field goals and extra points and whatever the hell else he decides to do out there. But other than that, though, he's been fine.
Yeah, we obviously haven't really got a chance to see him much in the secondary or anything like that. Same with Lewis Cine. So, but yeah, we still have Jay Ward as well. So that'll be interesting. Hey, everybody in here. Hey, y'all have to go join Justin at 8:15. Oh, and sub if you don't already. Everybody in here, definitely go sub to us, of course. Hit the like button on us. But if you are not already, definitely go tap into Justin's live show and subscribe and like his video as well. 100%. But Dobbs never had the talent to play with might become a problem if he fits in system perfectly, and we have some dogs on offense. Dobbs never had the talent. The reality is he might become a problem. The thing with Dobbs, though, is he does have the talent. He has literally all the talent, but does he have from a physical talent? No.
I think he's saying he's never had the talent around him.
Oh,
he could become
never had the talent to play with.
He could become a problem for the rest of the league if.
I got you. So yeah. So there's a chance he could be. The opposite. So you're agreeing with me, which I'm not. Who knows? Because there is still things with Dobbs too. Is he can be an inconsistent passer, and he has been known so far in his short career as an actual starter had some issues with turnovers, but we'll see on that. But yeah, if he is able to figure those out, and maybe a lot comes with the amount of talent he does have on our offense and having a good offensive line as well. Surprisingly, it's always weird to say every time we say that. Man, I mean, I think potentially the sky's the limit, because he physically, talent-wise, he has everything we all want in a quarterback. He's mobile. He can avoid pressure and move the chains with his legs, and he has a rocket of an arm. It's just, can he consistently get that ball home to his receivers? And he does make some good throws. I mean, that throw to Jordan Addison in that specific situation, I mean, you can't ask for something better than that. So, oh, you're good. You're good, Skull Mafia. Let's go.
No worries. We got you.
If Addison has been drafted number 7 at wide receiver to go, becoming wide receiver 1 on other team, he'd be presently getting yeah, probably. I had him. I said he should have been a top 15 pick in last year's draft, and we somehow got him at 23.
I wonder where he's gonna rank, like in the rookie of the year conversation. Because I mean, at this point, you have to assume it's probably gonna be CJ Stroud. You'd think at this point for rookie of the year. Right.
Yeah. There's no. I mean, I think it was questionable up until last game, but him coming in and dropping 5 touchdowns,
470 yards, 5 touchdowns.
It was the most. It might have been the most impressive, and I traded him in my fantasy league, but it might have been the most impressive game by a quarterback that we've seen. Indubitably. Can never say. I said it. I almost said it that first time. I actually know. I remember when Johnny came on here and dropped that in mid conversation. I'm like, damn, bro. I'm not even gonna risk saying that.
I can't even say that word.
Indubitably. Yeah, dude. I'm hoping. Hey, and we were talking about this before you got on. The thing is the thing about the whole Jaren Hall Dobbs conversation is right now, Dobbs is going to get his real shot in to be a good NFL quarterback. He has a good supporting cast around him, the best you probably can ask for a quarterback like him, the Rocket Man. But he has all of that, and I do think with this team, this week he has the best opportunity if he wants to step up. Like it's his time right now. And for us Viking fans, like if it just doesn't work out and he comes in and he has too many turnovers or whatever, we lose the game. And I think a lot of us fans most of us be like, well, we feel comfortable. And honestly, a lot of our fans still want to see, including myself, still would rather see Jaren Hall anyways. But at least this week, it's like, hey, Jaren Hall's probably couldn't even play anyways because of his concussion.
Yeah.
So Dobbs gets a real opportunity here to be that guy that he potentially could be. And I'm sure he's got to go into this game knowing that too. Like knowing that if I don't play well, I'm probably getting benched next week. Then indomitable spirit, as they say.
So okay, here's the thing.
This is gonna turn into a thing where you want us to say words, because I am terrible at pronouncing words.
By the way, I worked at a grocery store.
Worcestershire.
I worked in the grocery industry for 10 years, and I still don't know how you're technically supposed to pronounce that word.
Yeah, Pastronaut. The Pastronaut.
10 years in the grocery industry, and I still don't. Is it Worcester? Worcester. I mean,
Worcester. I don't know. Worcestershire.
Hey,
what up, JJ?
I was shouting out the Paul Allen retweet you got earlier today, by the way.
Hey, let's go, JJ. Did you write back that, hey, I'm still coming for you? You got to just write back like the footsteps emoji. That's what you got to do. Come back with the footsteps emoji so he knows you're creeping up. Skibby, scabby, flibby, flabby. Skibby, scabby, flibby, flabby. Skibby, scabby, flibby, flabby. I got that one. Got that one in my sleep, Gary. Got that one in my sleep. With JJ in here, I guess in the hashtag skull, let's get ready to run that card here. Again, Justin Jefferson, rookie card. I do have Jordan Addison rookie cards coming. So on our next show, I'll probably be giving away a Jordan Addison rookie card. But another week, another Justin Jefferson rookie card. Get those hashtag skulls in the comments. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. After this is over, you should definitely go check out Justin's channel as well. But go bring up another tab. We dropped our video of our whole opinions and full conversations on whether we believe Jaren Hall or Dobbs should be the starter going forward. And we just dropped that video. So if you can go over there and watch that, we'd appreciate that. But if you can go over there and at the very least, just go like that video, we'd be appreciative of that very much. But yeah, we'll be giving away this card pretty quickly here. And also, everybody in here, if you haven't already, go to JJ Vikings podcast here on YouTube as well and go subscribe to him.
He's copy pasting now. Oh boy.
Hashtag so. I hope you're typing all this. That'd be crazy.
Nah,
we got Gary's in here though. He's got Gary's in here.
He's got to be.
We're getting blown up. We're getting blown up. Absolutely, JJ. Absolutely, buddy. 100%. Hey, we love you, man. We love you. Let me bring this up. Boom. We got 12 entries. Do you want to put us in the better view?
Yeah, one sec.
For some reason, mine doesn't do that. I'm just a really good typer. I'm just a really god typer. I guess not as good as I'm terrible at typing. I cannot type that fast. But I know you have V's going. Maybe you are really typing this.
Hey,
let's see. I'm clearly doing this wrong. All right, we're gonna get.
Doing is bumping up the old chat for the algorithms.
The old chat, the old comments here. All right, we're gonna do this. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. 3, 2, 1. Who we got? We got JJ trying his best here, but will he be the winner? Let's see right now. Dan.
There we go. Dan,
you
still here?
Dan, you still here?
I would say when was your last comment, but I got to scroll through all the JJ stuff first. Oh yeah, he hit us up at 7:09. He's here. He's here somewhere.
Dan, you've won. I forget where we have so many conversations on here. I forget.
There he is.
There he is. Let's go, Dan. Dan, you've won before, correct? I'm gonna put the email in here anyways.
All right. So we will get that over to you. Awesome. But anyway, yeah, so Vikings pull off the win 31-28 over the Atlanta Falcons. 5-4. I saw someone say it earlier. I think it was Frozen North. It does feel weird to say that this team has a winning record and we're in the hunt of the playoffs with everything that's gone on this season. But
starting 4-1.
This is the type of season that makes it fun to watch football when you have no expectations of everything that happens and you find ways to come win football games. And they got a game against the Saints next week at US Bank Stadium, where surprisingly they're 1-4 this year at home. So hopefully we can flip the script on that, start getting a little winning streak going. You got 2 night games after that. They didn't flex Denver, so we are still playing in Denver the following Sunday night. So lots of stuff going on here. We'll be on Wednesday, obviously, with Dave on the Skull Experience. Anything else before we hop off here?
I think that's it. Let's just keep it rolling, man. We'll hopefully between Hall and Dobbs, one of these guys ends up being the obvious future for the Vikings, so that we can save some draft picks. Otherwise, still on board and grabbing our quarterback of the future. So, absolutely.
But anyway, thanks everybody for hopping in. As Jamie said, make sure to go check out our video we put out on the Josh Dobbs being named starter and debate with Jaren Hall. Go check that out, and we'll see you guys next time right here on the GG Sports Podcast.
Let's go Vikes.